Hello.
Suspense and horror films have always been a staple at the Estes Park Film Festival, but nobody does them quite as good as writer-director Patrick Rea and his production team at Senoreality Pictures in Lawrence, Kansas. Since 2004, Patrick and his team have produced 2 independent feature films and numerous award-winning short films. Many of these films screened at the annual Estes Park Film Festival, including the regional Emmy-winning short film Women's Intuition. In 2009, Patrick was presented with the Estes Park Excellence in Filmmaking Award for Outstanding Achievement in Cinema. Recently, the 7522 Network's own Jenny Blaue sat down with Patrick Rea right before the awards presentation and talked about some of his films.
What's your history? You're a very experienced filmmaker from what I hear.
Uh,
How many films have you made now?
we went to KU, or University of Kansas, which is in Lawrence, and we started a production company, myself and Ryan Jones, who does a lot of the post-production work on our films. And we partnered up and created Senoreality Pictures in 2001. And we just started making short films constantly with whatever camera we could get our hands on. And and getting better as we go, and working with really talented people in the Kansas City and Lawrence area. And, all the people that we work with are the people we met in film school. So we just kind of build those relationships and keep making films constantly and, doing it whenever we can. So, yeah.
Awesome. So, what was the inspiration for the first of the films I saw, Miss Brummett's Garden? Tell us a little bit about the film in your own words.
The inspiration for the film is the Twilight Zone, obviously, Outer Limits, a little bit of Tales from the Crypt. But my grandmother passed away not long before we decided to shoot the movie, and that was kind of my inspiration because she had a garden and she always talked about fairies in the garden and stuff like that. So, as far as writing it, that was kind of my inspiration was just stuff that she said.
A personal connection.
Yeah, an actual personal connection to it. So, we shot the movie for 4 days. Actually, we shot the film during last year's festival here, so that's why I couldn't come out last year.
So this is your first trip out?
Yes, right.
Right.
So, because every year we've always been shooting one of our films the weekend that you guys were having the festival. So,
we're glad to have you finally.
But we shot in Lawrence, Kansas, and at the point where we were filming, there weren't a lot of flowers, so we had to make the garden in the film look more like.
It looked gorgeous.
Yeah,
it was so lush and vibrant.
Yeah, so we just kept going to the floral store.
Very magical fairy stuff.
Yeah, the composer for that film was Harry Manfredini, and he did the original scores for the Friday the 13th series.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I met him at a film festival and showed him some of my short films, and then he was all like, I definitely want to work with you guys. Awesome. Do Not Disturb, which is in contrast to that.
I was going to say, it's so very different.
It is. I wanted to make something a little bit more psychological and creepy, and basically, like I explained earlier today, that we're shooting our feature film Nail Biter with the Red camera, and we needed to test the camera out in the workflow. And basically, I wanted to come up with something that we could tackle in 3 days. Because we had 3 days with the camera. Yeah. So I convinced the Marriott in Lawrence to let me film in there for 3 days and rent a room. And of course, when I told them we were shooting a movie in a hotel room, they raised some eyebrows. So I had to give them the script, and of course they approved the script, and it was a lot of fun, but it was a very fast 3 days because we had a lot of shots to get, and the whole concept behind that is it's kind of like this serial killer he's locked himself in this hotel room, and he starts receiving messages from basically somebody who's like a secret admirer, like an his biggest fan, and
it was very.
There's a little bit of open-endedness to the ending of the movie, which is what I originally intended.
So what's next on the agenda? Are you working on shorts again, or
I am still working on. I'm still shooting. Well, we shot 5 weeks this summer on our feature Nail Biter, and then we have another 2 weeks of shooting because it's and there are 2 weeks of pickups. We're going to do 5 days starting next Friday. And then we have another probably week and a half that we're going to do in the spring because it has some heavy-duty monster creature effects, which we've got a guy in LA doing named Alan Holt.
After Do Not Disturb, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, and it's the concept is fun because it's kind of got this Kansas City vibe because it's a mom and 3 daughters, and they're on their way to the airport. They get stuck in this tornado, and they have to find shelter, and they end up getting trapped in the storm cellar, and then there's something down there with them, and so it's just it's kind of it's Alien meets Twister, I guess is the best way to
how can you go
describe
around
it.
that? I'm so excited.
Are
you going to bring it here?
I hope so. I hope in a year we're completely done with it because it's going to take a lot of a lot of work in post-production, and like I said, we've got some more to shoot on it, but we've started cutting the 80% of the movie that we have already in the can, so it's pretty exciting. And then we're doing I think we're going to end up on our hiatus between the spring and the winter and the spring, we're going to do a short. So
cool. We'll have to look forward to those. How do you feel about your first time up here? Was it a good festival?
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yes.
Awesome.
I mean, I was really amazed at the quality of the films and just love the location. Everybody's awesome. So.
Well, great. Glad you made it, and glad we have something to look forward to from you. There were two great films, so thanks a lot for coming up here, taking the time to join us for sure.